Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Elise from Elise Cake Crafts, back for my second WIP and Chat. Thank you for everyone who joined me last week, and thank you if you're joining me again today. Welcome if this is your first time to my channel. So what I'm going to do today is what's known as a WIP and Chat. WIP stands for work in progress, and I'm going to chat at you for the next, I don't know, probably 45 minutes. This might be a shorter video today because I do need to go out shortly. So please grab yourself a craft, grab yourself a drink. We're going to sit down, we're going to have a chat like we're friends crafting together. Today what we're doing is, well, I'm diamond painting today. And this canvas here, I'll just quickly go through the canvas, go through my tools. So this is the same as last week. I will be working on this for the rest of the month. I do have an event to do in June, so I've decided not to kit up anything else and just keep plugging along on this one. It's called Woodland Panorama. It's by Ciro Marchetti from Dreamer Designs. It is a huge canvas. I've been working on this since the start of the year. I'm now about a third of the way through, and that's why I've decided to concentrate on this one to really make some progress on it. I want to get it finished before the end of the year. So it's 180 centimeters long by 60 centimeters height. That's 70.9 inches by 23.6 inches. It's got 65 colors. And yeah, so that's what I'm working on today. I'm using a tray system. It's a tray tower. It has, so I'm using 3 different trays to fill the tower. The normal Diamond Art Club trays, these also come in different colors. You get those free in Diamond Art Club kits. I've got a couple of Pixel Pages trays. These are 3D printed trays. They're actually my favorite. It is my dream one day to fill my tower up with these, but it's just a little bit too expensive for me at the moment. And then I've got some Artdot clear trays as well, and I've got a bigger one of this, but it's just basically the same thing, just bigger. Alright, the pens I'm using are these two here. This one here is just a straightener. I got this straightener tool from, I think, Shein. The pen is Turned by Donna Bass. I'm not sure the blank maker. It would have probably either been Troy Shipley or Unbelievable Blanks. They do blank drops on Donna Bass's Facebook page if you're after a pen by either of those makers. This one here is what I'll be using to place down the drills. It is a Black Wolf Woodworks pen. It's hybrid, resin and wood. I got this off Etsy. I'm not sure if the shop is still operating. Last I checked, they weren't up there, but I know that you can have a break from Etsy as well, so I'm not sure if it's temporary or permanent. I'm using a Diamond Art Club single placer in here, and I've just got a regular, like, no-name brand. I don't know, I think I got this from Shein or Amazon. It's a 6 placer. There. I'm using the Diamond Art Club murder tweezers. These used to come free in the kits. They don't anymore, but you can get them on the website, I believe. And just a little squishy here because it feels a bit better to use. In my single placer, I have hard and sticky wax from the Creativity Squirrel. They're over on Etsy. They're a Melbourne-based diamond painting accessory shop. They do sell diamond paintings on that shop as well, so definitely check them out. Probably my favorite shop, like for diamond painting accessories. I do love Pixel Pages as well. And I've got my little Mystic Makers 3D printed dragon here to keep us company today, still unnamed. And I've got a drink of soda water in here. In my multiplacer, I've got some just putty that I made myself. And I'm using my new Kmart Lightpad here. Someone did ask me for a review comparison between this and the Artdot. This is my first time using it on this square, so I feel like I need to use it more to really give a proper comparison. So once again, thank you for joining me. Last week I posted on, my video went up on Friday night. I filmed it on Friday. It's Friday morning here in Melbourne today, and I'm going out to meet my cousin later today at Ikea. We're going to do a bit of shopping. I'm looking for a new shelf, a new bookshelf to put my art and craft supplies on, and some books and DVDs and whatnot. My cousin, I believe, is looking for a... Oh, accidentally turned that off. My arm. My cousin, I believe, is looking for a desk. She is also a diamond painter. So I actually don't know if the desk is for diamond painting or not for diamond painting. But I'll ask her when we get there. So it's her first time going to IKEA, which is exciting. I always love a good trip out to IKEA. The last few times I've been out, I've taken my son, and you know, it's hard taking kids shopping, especially somewhere like that, because, you know, he gets bored by the end of it and just wants to look at the toys, wants to jump on all the furniture, pretend he's living in all the houses. So while it's pretty funny for photos and such, it's always good to just have a shopping trip with adults or on your own. So for those who didn't join last week, or maybe who did, anyway, my last week's WIP Chat, I was talking about stress, burnout, work, those sorts of things, because I just finished up at my job last Tuesday, so it's been about a week and a half since I finished up. I've had a busy week since you joined me. On Saturday we had basketball, where we usually spend most of our Saturdays, and then we went out on Saturday night to see the Deftones at Rod Laver Arena. When I say we, I mean my 7-year-old and his father and I all went out, and that was lots of fun. They were great. I took some videos. I'm going to try to add videos to the end of this WIP Chat, so because this is like, I'm really new to YouTube, I'm really new to filming, and it will give me a good challenge. So if I'm successful, you'll see the videos at the end. On Wednesday night I went to see Loathe, another band. They're like, I don't know, they're like metalcore, I suppose. That's usually what they get described as, metalcore. Not for everybody. I'm the only person that I know that likes that band. So I went alone to that concert. I was quite nervous for that, going up on the train and everything by myself. I was thinking of staying up in the city, but just worried about wasting money, worried about getting back to the hotel, all of that stuff. So I decided to go up on the train. Little did I know that the train wasn't running and it was buses, and it took me 3.5 hours to get there. It was just a nightmare, and traffic was really bad on the way to the train station too, so that's why it took me so long. So it didn't take so long coming back, thankfully. It was pretty streamlined because they had an express bus on the way back. And yeah, it was a really good night. I did miss half of the support act, Static Dress. I did want to see them, but then when I got there, I wasn't really into them as much as I thought I would be. I'd only heard a couple of songs by theirs, and I didn't hear them play any of the songs that I knew. So the line for merch was pretty long. I just decided to line up, and I got myself a t-shirt. I didn't get anything, well, I bought Frank a t-shirt at Deftones, but I didn't get myself anything at the Deftones, simply because it was too expensive. There was a hoodie I really liked, but it was $160 for a hoodie, and I thought, well, I've already got lots of hoodies. I don't have a Deftones. Oh, I do have a Deftones hoodie. Scratch that. Okay, I do have a Deftones hoodie. Well, there you go. It was a good choice not to buy it then. My week has really been up and down. So I've had, you know, a couple of good days where they've been up like that. I've really enjoyed myself on those occasions. But I've had some really down days too. I think it's, you know, the burnout really hitting me for one. The anxiety that I've had has really been hard. I've had the last few days, well, since yesterday morning really, oh really Thursday, oh, sorry, Wednesday, I had that feeling of impending doom, mostly around financial feelings. I was expecting to feel this way, honestly. I mean, I used to get this even when I was working and had an income coming in, but I was just, you know, everything sort of hit me at once, and the fact that I need to rest, and I haven't really been resting so much. I feel like I haven't been productive. It's just, you know, all of those things that I was expecting to feel, I felt. I'm still feeling that way. It's a bit better today, but, you know, I'm still like, I've got to go out and get groceries tonight, and I've got a birthday present I have to spend money on, and those sorts of things, and I'm just I'm stressing about it for really no reason. I mean, I am very privileged to be in the position I'm in, where, you know, I could really I don't need to worry about taking time off. I've got money there. I do eventually have to go back to work. I can't take forever off, but, you know, I can take a few months to at least get myself sorted out. And I'm only 1.5 weeks in, so it's just, I'm just trying to battle through it. Basically what I'm doing is I'm catastrophizing everything, and look, I know that that's a cognitive distortion. These are the sorts of things that I would that I've studied, that I've been trained to talk about with people, and I'm doing these things myself. So I think it just shows you, like, really, you know, we're all human. We all have these feelings. Well, maybe we don't, but it's normal to have these feelings. Depending on what you've been through, what your life experiences have been. So that's where I'm at. You know, it was really triggered as well. I was due to be paid out my annual leave, my accrued annual leave. So I had a few weeks saved up, knowing that, you know, I would be leaving and I'd be getting those paid out. And then when my final pay did come through, I was not paid out. So that's going through. I reached out to my old employer, and that's going through things. I've got no doubt it will be worked out. It's just I haven't been given a date to when I can expect that money. They haven't contacted me, so it's just something I'm waiting on. And with the catastrophizing, I'm thinking, oh, did I, you know, maybe I've done something that I don't deserve to be paid out, or like, have I breached some sort of contract? Have I done something wrong? Have I miscalculated my leave? Because as I found out, it's not on the pay slips that, because I went back and double checked my pay slips, but it's not actually on there. You know, did I misremember? I'm just really doubting myself. And look, even if I didn't get paid out, it wouldn't be the end of the world. I'd be furious because, you know, that's my entitlement. I've worked for it. But at the end of the day, I'd survive. So yeah, we'll see. In terms of what I've been watching, thank you to, I think it was Electric Boobs, who commented on my last, I think that was your name. What fantastic name on YouTube. Anyway, who commented about Twin Peaks. I haven't watched Twin Peaks. I haven't started re-watching it yet. The weather has been quite good. It's been actually quite perfect to rewatch it. It was a combination of having a really, really busy week, but also it's not streaming on anything at the moment. And I do have it on DVD, but I don't have a DVD player, which is, yeah, obviously an issue. So, well, I've got a PS5, but the PS5 is always being used. So it never gets used as a DVD player if you want to sit down and relax. And I diamond paint out in my caravan. I usually just watch stuff off my laptop. So I'm going to need to work that out because, yeah, I was just planning on watching it for streaming. I think it's been on Stan, like all these years it's been on Stan and it's no longer there. One thing I have been watching though is Half Man. If you haven't seen it, I thoroughly recommend it. It's by the guy that did what's it called, Baby Reindeer. He does play one of the main characters in the show. I've watched the 3rd episode, and that comes out in Australia on Fridays at 5 o'clock on Stan. It streams. So yeah, I'll be watching the 4th episode maybe tonight, maybe not tonight. We will just see. After I go to Ikea, I'm picking my son up from his father's house and he'll be coming over. He's had exams and SACs like the last few weeks. He's been studying really, really hard for those. And yeah, he's doing really, really well with that. So he can finally relax this weekend. He's got an exam today, so his last one today, so he can finally relax and he might like to actually watch Half Man from the start. He did enjoy Baby Reindeer. And I think he watched through it a few times actually. So I'll see what he thinks. But I haven't seen him for a few weeks, so pretty excited to have him over. So we might not even get to that. If not, I might watch it tomorrow morning, maybe. We've got basketball tomorrow afternoon. So we'll just see what we do there. Yeah, I'm just not sure what is in store for the weekend yet, except for Sam coming over tonight. I've got to go, after I pick him up, we've got to go down to the shops and get something for dinner. I'm still not sure what I'm going to cook. Or or if we're going to get takeaway tonight. I'm not sure. Might get pizza. We'll just see how we're going. As I said, I've been a bit stressed out about money, like it's not coming, never going to come in or whatever. It's, you know, that's not really the reality of things. That's just me stressing. So what that stress has really been good for though is for FOMO, those feelings of FOMO. And I'm trying, when I've had anxiety, I've had anxiety for a long time, but it's actually been helpful for me in some ways. It can be helpful. It can really be helpful in terms of like if you've got anxiety for perfectionism, like over being a perfectionist or what have you. It can be good to an extent to quality control. Whatever you're working on, whatever you've got anxiety about, performance anxiety about. So it's normal and it's healthy to have a little bit of anxiety, and it can push you to perform better. So I think I went for a long time living with the, I'm trying to not say my anxiety, with the anxiety, and using it to my advantage in my work in terms of managing like risky situations and those sorts of things. I could sort of see patterns, predict patterns, put safety plans in place for people, and just really prepare for the worst. And it was helpful in a lot of ways. And, I don't like to say this, but I think it can be helpful in a lot of work scenarios. And it's definitely not just been at the last place I worked. It's been at other places, to think about covering your own butt in certain situations too, or the covering the butt of the organization, or just that risk management stuff really. But back to FOMO and how it's the anxiety of my recent situation has helped with my FOMO. So when I was working, I was really guilty of just buying diamond paintings. Was my main thing that I would buy. But I was an avid online shopper. I still am. I love getting parcels in the mail. Like I love, I guess, the dopamine rush that comes with that, especially if you don't even remember what you've ordered, and it's like getting a present. It's exciting, it's fun. And when I was working, I think a way to cope with the stress was to overspend on online shopping, and then you just end up with a house full of crap. Well, I do have quite a large stash. I have a bigger stash than I'd like. It's not as big as many people, but most of the diamond paintings I have are from Diamond Art Club, and those boxes are big. So yeah, not having a job, so I know on one hand I no longer have to, I never had to. Sorry about that, guys. That abrupt cut off. I was just sitting here, and lucky I was sitting here deciding to do my WIP Chat, and I just happened to look up and see my dog walk past out on the veranda. He had gotten out of the yard, and I was about to go out all day, and he would have maybe escaped from the yard. So now he's back in there securely. I didn't realise that yesterday when the garden was getting done that someone had left the gate open. So yeah, just lucky I was here to see that. Wow. I'm a little bit puffed out from chasing the dog and carrying him and moving him out. But yeah, lucky. Wow. Okay, so where was I? Okay, with the FOMO. Okay, now I've retrained my brain to think, because I've you know, been really open about what I'm struggling with at the moment with my mental health and what my triggers are with work, with the work stresses and pressures. I think to myself, if I don't buy that diamond painting, for example, we'll just use diamond paintings because that's the main thing that I spend my money on, really, for myself. If I don't buy that diamond painting, or if I don't buy that pen, or whatever it may be, that's, I think about it in terms of hours that I don't have to go to a job. I don't like to pay for that, and it's working. It really is working. I'm a huge fan of Margaret Morales, and I mean, and Jeremiah Kettner. I love his kitties, and I did really want Neko Cafe. Oh my goodness, I keep turning this off with my arm. But just adding things to my wish list and being really intentional with my purchases. You know, it's helping to actually build a stash that I love. And now the main issue that I'm having with my stash is, well, there's old paintings that I bought, diamond paintings that I bought that I'm just not too keen on anymore. I might do a bit of a de-stash, because I have, like, actually collected some that I really love, and it's actually hard to pick what to work on next because I want to work on them all, which is a really good problem to have. Yeah, so that's, I guess, what I wanted to share with you about FOMO. In terms of money, though, I'm trying to take back a little bit of control. Like, you know, when I've started doing those online survey things, and I've got like $4 or something in surveys just from when I was like rotting in bed and found myself ruminating on it all, I'll just open a survey and do a survey. Like, that's taking back some sort of control over the situation. It's not like earning a full-time wage, it's gonna earn pennies, but it does help manage the anxiety as well. In terms of what else has happened this week, so I mentioned to you guys last week about potentially starting up, you know, like a WIP Chat, but focusing on a certain topic, you know, and I floated the idea of true crime. Well, this week in Melbourne, and this is a case that I've been following since the beginning, since she went missing, and I would check social media every single, like, not even day, like, I'm talking every hour to see if she was found. She was Isla Bell. She went missing in Melbourne a couple of years ago, 2024. And then, yeah, I won't go into the case, but anyway, there's been the Supreme Court just dropped all charges. Well, I guess the court, I don't know. Yeah, so the Supreme Court dropped all charges against the accused this week for that case, and it's not really, I don't know all of the details of like the case, what evidence they had and what they didn't have. Well, I know some of the evidence that they had because it's been in the media, right? Apparently, I was thinking of actually doing a video on this just because it's really topical, and I think that I could explain it in a way that would be really respectful to Isla. And I think it's important that her story is heard, particularly now that it's no longer going through the courts. So I'm not the only one that has strong feelings about this one. There's actually a rally tomorrow in the city, in Melbourne City. I think people are meeting at Flinders Street at 12 for this. I would have liked to have gone, but I've got children and I'm not going to take them to a protest, and also they've got their sport on too, so I can't get there. But you know, if anyone else is interested in reading about the case and you're outraged or whatever, or you know, you want to go show Isla and her family solidarity, maybe head out there tomorrow to the city on Saturday. Yeah, one thing from taking a step back from work, I'm realizing that yes, I really do have you know, an interest and a passion in true crime, and I would like to tell. There's so many stories I'd love to share with you guys, because you know, the things that I find really particularly interesting is how they catch the killers or whatever. It's like the investigation side of things. If I could have my time again, if I could go through school and start again, I would have loved to be a detective and solve crimes, basically. So not basically, like that's what detectives do. So I find that really fascinating, and I'd really like to talk to you about those sorts of things. I'm also thinking of doing like campfire stories, those sorts of things. I think that would be fun too, as well as the WIP chats. But I've got a number of ideas for diamond painting related content. Not really, like, I'm not going to be inventing the wheel here. A lot of creators do the same sort of stuff, but it's always good to get your information from a range of different creators, because people have different ways of doing things, people have different opinions. You might just like the way someone talks about a particular topic more than another person, or you might like to get all the ideas. So I think it's still worth doing, even though it's been done before, a lot of those things. And I'd like to share, you know, what I've worked on, my space, how my setup, what's in my stash, and those sorts of things. What accessories I have and what I like, what I don't like. I want to share it all with you guys, because frankly, my friends and family are not interested in hearing about it. So that's what this is for, is to share all of that with you. But yeah, I've got a number of interests. I'm not just interested in diamond painting, so this is my channel. I can share myself with the world through this. So yeah. One thing that I really want to start off with is my diamond painting story and how I got into this craft. So I've been diamond painting for about 2.5 years. Before I start that, let me just check the time, because I do have to go out. Just 1 minute. Alright, I've got about 10 more minutes, so that's perfect to just quickly run through my story. I'm sure this won't be the last time that I talk to you about this. That as more people start following me, I might tell this multiple times. So if you're here, this is the first time I've told you guys how I got into diamond painting. So yeah, 2 years ago, my son and I were down at Kmart, the local Kmart, and we were bored. And we, on the weekends, would like to go shopping, have a look around the shops for things and just interesting things to do. Usually it would involve going into the op shops, buying a bunch of plushies, things like that, because my son loves plushies. But on this particular day, because both of my boys are really into drawing and art and those sorts of things, and they have been since they were young, and that's something that I really try to encourage. They're both, in my opinion, maybe everyone says this about their children, but they're both quite talented. Definitely much better than I was at my age, and at their ages. And they've each got like a style. Like, how awesome is that? Like a child having a style. Got these ABs. So we were looking at art and craft supplies, like drawing supplies. They would have probably been like those alcohol markers or something. I can't remember. But I do remember on that day my son ended up getting a dinosaur that you could like paint, like a 3D like actual painting dinosaur, with like some paint pens to colour it in. And I'm like, okay, well that's going to be a fun activity for the weekend, or at least the afternoon. What can I do? Why am I struggling so much with these ABs? I've got one actually dug into here. That's why. Yeah, I want something to do. So we kept looking around and I found a diamond painting. It was a partial of a lorikeet and a galah. And it was $4. It was reduced. I think it was $4 or $2 or something. It was like on clearance. And I remember when I went to mother's group, one of the mums saying that they recently got into this thing called diamond painting, and she found it really relaxing and easy to do because you can stop and start at any time. So I decided to pick it up. Well, that tiny partial, I think it was 30 by 30, and it was only like probably 50% of the canvas was actually like to diamond paint on. And I watched YouTube how to do it, and I'm like, yep, cool. Single placed the whole thing with the tools that came in the kit. I didn't think about buying new tools, and it took me about a month to do, but I finished it. And unlike a lot of things that I start, especially arts and crafts, where I start and I never finish things, I actually finished it and I felt really accomplished. And I remember I sent my dad a photo of it done. I'm like, look what I did. Like, not that Dad would care in the slightest. He would not care about that, but I was so happy that I finished it, and I was well and truly addicted. So when I finally got there and finished it, I think I sat for about like 2 minutes and I was like, okay, I need to go buy another one. So I went down to Kmart and I bought another one, which was a full drill canvas. I think it was like tropical birds or something. I don't know. Yeah, I had a toucan, I'm sure. Anyway, I bought that and I was like, yeah, really, I was just well and truly addicted. But I didn't get to Diamond Art Club at that point. I didn't sort of understand what premium kits were all about. So then I went shopping on Shein, and I bought a couple from Shein, and then I actually did quite a large one. It would have been maybe 60 centimeters by 30 or something like that. It was like a long panel of Nightmare Before Christmas, because my son loves Nightmare Before Christmas, and he was just fully obsessed at that point. So I did that, and then I got into Diamond Art Club at some point not that long after that, and I got into watching YouTube not that long after that. And even though like I don't always like, I'm an avid lurker on YouTube channels, I don't always contribute, but I'm usually there in the background lurking. I just felt with these WIP chats especially that it was that I wasn't doing this craft alone, and I feel that I gained a big sense of, well, yeah, there was like a sense of community that I've gained from doing this craft, from sharing, you know, your WIPs, your finishes, participating in different groups in Discord, or commenting on videos, and just you know, discussing the reasons why you got into diamond painting, which for me was definitely, well, it was just a fluke really at the start, but then I found that it really helped with my anxiety. It really helped me with my mental health and melting away the stress. So that's why I kept doing it, and now I love it. And just getting to know artists and things like that, which naturally comes if you're buying from licensed diamond painting companies. You just learn about the different artists who you like, who you don't like so much, the different styles of art, and I really appreciate the craft for that, for opening my eyes to the world of art. Yeah, so that's about it, guys. Now I'm here. I'll share my collection with you one day. I'll share my space with you one day. My tastes and things like that have changed over time, so that's something that, you know, I'll probably talk about as we go on. Yeah, thank you for joining me. I'm finished this section. I haven't even had a sip of my drink, but I better get going because I've got to go meet my cousin. I hope you all have a lovely weekend, and I'll see you after the weekend with some more diamond related content. Don't know what I'm going to film yet. We'll work it out. Thanks for joining me, and thank you for staying to the end if you have. See you all. Bye.